Okay, this is the FeltCrafts hair mat machine. It's a needle felting machine, and it has two motors. One motor is for the needles going up and down. The other one is for a roller that is in the front of the machine. The machine is filled with felting needles. These are 3.5-inch long needles with a 3/4-inch blade that has little notches in it, which are called barbs. And those notches, when they poke into fiber, they push the fiber down and release it as they lift up. And that's how the hair mats are made. The fiber goes through between these two perforated plates where the needles are going through, and then they come out the other side. The machine comes with two 24-inch wide ramps or guides, for one in the front and one in the back of the machine, and you can just place a little piece of tape to hold right here to hold them in place. In addition, there are two 12-inch guides that you use to make the hair mats for the final 12-inch width. There's a 1-inch steel bar that lays on top of the front roller bar, and the fiber will go between that and move. The first layer will move through the needle area and out the back. Now I'll demonstrate how to start making a hair mat. Okay, it's easy to change the needles on this machine. There's two pieces of angle. There's a short piece and a longer piece, and they're held into with two screws. I've removed the screws. Underneath the angle is some rubber foam, and that holds the tops of the needles in place. As you can see, if each needle is dropped individually into the hole, so if one needle breaks, you can remove it and replace it with a new needle. So when you place the needles in all the holes, then just make sure that the tops are over the top of the bar. Replace the angle, and then finger tighten the screws, and then use a screwdriver to tighten them down, but don't make them too tight. Okay, the machine really requires no maintenance, just oil on a couple of drops right where this nut meets the bar, and also this would be every 6 to 8 hours, and then also a couple of drops above this bearing. Let me bring that down on either side. Okay, this is the type of hair that you'll be getting. This is hair that we've just gotten as individuals donate, and it's very, it's fine. There's no garbage or bobby pins or things in it. There may be rubber bands which you want to take off because they will stick to the needles. This hair is from a salon, and it's a lot of different lengths all in one mat. So I'm going to show you how to make a hair mat using these two different kind of preparations of hair. We're going to start out with the donated hair because we want a thin layer, and we're going to make it 24 inches wide. You don't want it too thick because this is going to be folded over, and you just want something that will carry the rest of the hair. So I'm going to lay this out, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, now I've laid out a base layer. The easiest hair to lay out is hair like this that's been washed. It just kind of flows, falls down. It doesn't stay in clumps. You can't use dreadlocks in this at this point, but you can use it later when we make the mat. So once this is laid out, you try to do it as even as you can. Make sure you get to the edge. And it doesn't matter if you see holes in there, but then I'm going to push push the fiber up towards there, towards the roller, and I'm going to first start the needles. Now this is a speed control, so you can start slow and then you can increase speed. I want to go a little bit faster speed because I want more needle felting on this layer, because this is going to be holding the other hair. So I'm gradually starting the roller, and as you can see, the hair is starting to feed into the perforated plate area, into the needle area. Just want to, because it's so thin, you want to make sure you can push it up towards there gently, not too much at a time, so that it won't just stretch out. Now it's coming out of the back, and the faster I have the speed control for the rollers, then the faster it'll come out. But I want more needle felting, so I'm going to increase the speed of the needles and slow down the rollers so there's more needle felting. Okay, now I'm going to turn off the needles, and I'm going to turn down the rollers, and then I'm going to turn the switch. So I stop, and I can add a little more, or I can add as long as I want it, up till I get to like 10 feet, which would be for one of the hair mats. But this will, I'm just going to demonstrate a shorter piece, but as I said, you can make any length that you want. It just goes continuous. Okay, like I said, some of the hair really falls. You can almost like shake it down and it'll fall more evenly and fine. Okay, now I'm going to start it again, and I'm going to finish this whole piece going through. Again, I turn on the switch for the needles. I turn up the needles first. Then I turn the switch for the rollers and turn the roller. Okay, there's no roller on this side, so now that all the hair has fed through, I need to manually move it through. Okay, now I'm going to turn down the two speed controls. Now I have my base piece, and as long as it's you don't have a lot of holes in it, it should hold together. Of course, if you're going to do a 10-foot, mat, you're going to have a 10-foot piece of this. So even if it pulls apart a little, you still can, fold it over and use it for your mat. Okay, now I made. You saw that we made this 24-inch wide piece, and I brought it around to the front of the machine again. I'm going to remove this bar, because this bar and the feed rollers, we only use it when we're making this bottom piece. Okay, then I'm saving the other hair, and I'm going to use the salon hair. Now I just want to point out that if you have like a couple of people on this end of the machine, somebody on that end, two people could be adding the base layer, and so you wouldn't have to stop the machine. I just stop it because I'm just one person working on it. But you can just continuously feed into the machine non-stop for your base layer. Now I'm going to take the take my 12-inch ramp and just place it up here in the middle, and then place my base piece on top of it, kind of centered. Now I can take the salon hair, and you want to make sure that there's no bobby pins or anything hard in it, because that's the only thing that really will break the needles. So I'm going to lay that on. If you have pet hair, any kind of other fiber, this is where you can load it on into the hair mat. And I don't like to pull these pieces apart too much because they are a lot of shortcuts. But so now you would fill in this center area which is 12 inches wide over inside the 12-inch wide guide. Okay, now I've filled in on the this 12-inch area, and there's some places, and it doesn't have to be perfectly even. Like here's a little bit of hole there. I could put a tiny bit in there. If you have large holes in that base piece, you can always just take some hair like this and just go over it, fill it in. Okay, now I'm going to fold the side over. Okay, and I still have an area here, but when you fold it over, you can make a straight edge at the end. Sometimes if you only have your salon hair going here, then you could fold over the end. But I'm just going to bring it like this. Now I have the needles at the high position, and what you do is you look in this end of the motor, and you can see that it's up to the top. Now I'm going to turn on the motor. And now I do not use the rollers, because we're not using the roller. So I want to go fast. And this is where you can use like a piece of cardboard to push it down if it's too thick. And you just, the first time going through, it's going to be a little taller, the pile of hair. Okay, now I'm going to turn off the motor. Okay, now I've stopped the machine, and I'm going to finish off the end of the hair mat. I laid out the rest of the few inches with the salon hair, and I'm going to take this, the end, because I didn't go all the way to the end, fold it up, and then fold the sides over. So then you get more of a neater package at the end. You can do this also in the beginning. Now I'm going to turn on the needles. And I have this piece of cardboard, which I'm pushing down and slowly pushing through the needle area. I'm going to increase the speed again. Once I get near the end, then I can pull it from the opposite side. Okay, I'm almost at the end. Okay, then I can pull on this side to bring it out. Now, when you're pulling, you can hold the mat up, and then you're less likely to break any needles, and you have more control. So here we are. This is 2 times through, and what I do now is I'm going to flip it over and put it through one more time. And this is easy to put it through. You already have, it's already pressed down. You just ease it through. Ease it through the front, and then we can pull it out from the back. And like I said, you shouldn't break any needles unless there's some piece of metal like bobby pins or anything in the hair, the salon hair especially. Okay, and there we have the hair mat. If you want a thicker mat, I think this is a good thickness. It's easier to put through the machine, but you can add more in the second time you put it through before you cover it up. And it takes some practice to decide how thick you want it.
Okay.
I want to show you how to make a thinner mat than the last one that we made. So I've laid out the base layer, and I put a little bit of extra down the middle, and you'll see when we make the mat how that works. So first I'm going to turn on the needles, then I'm turning on rollers, and then just make sure the hair feeds up into the needle area under the roller. It doesn't stretch out. Okay, I brought the thin piece around to the front. I have my 12-inch wide guide, and I'm leaving the bar here. So I'm just going to fold this over on either side so I can keep a 12-inch wide piece. And I'm just filling in where there was a thin spot, really thin spot there, but where this is, we want to make a thinner mat here. Okay, then I'm pushing it up against the roller bar. I'm going to lift the roller bar to place it underneath. Okay, then I'll start the needles and start the rollers. Now this can still be made a little bit thinner. It's just how you lay out how much hair you're going to lay out. The roller bar is feeding the mat through. This has gone through twice. And I'm just guiding it out as it's fed through the rollers. Okay, it's just about at the end. Now I'm going to turn off the needles and the rollers. And here we have a thinner mat. You can see the difference with this thick one. And what you're going to have to do is decide what density and thickness is going to work best for the purposes of either having it in the storm drain or just picking up oil spills. Here I made earlier a thinner mat. This has more open places where water can probably go through easier. And this one probably is better for oceans, maybe with oil spills to pick up. But this is something that with your experimentation you'll have to, and by putting it in different areas, you'll have to decide what works best for you.